we'll have a call to order and a flag pledge. And the flag is to my right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Your host. And joining us Zoom is Carol Yardley. That's very important because how many people? This is a 7-person board. Okay, students, 7-person board. How many do we need for a quorum? Who said 4? I heard it. You're right. You're right. Thank you. So we got 4. Okay, is agenda item 2, approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented? So okay, there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? No discussion. We will have a vote. All in favor of the agenda as presented, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Carol, thank you. 4 votes. Agenda item 3, public participation. No God, huh? Okay, we will move on then. Agenda item 4, communications, board reports and communication. I got board report. I want to communicate. As you know, we're working on the North Bend School salmon hatchery on Pony Creek. Early days, and the first meeting was last Tuesday, April 29th at England Marine. And we had some attendees. It was Wade Lester was there, and he's actually the North Bend School District contact. Josh Betzworth, who was the father of the middle schooler, and it was kind of his idea, and Josh is the manager at England Marine. We had folks from Millicoma STEP program, Hughes County STEP program, the Copeland Indian Tribe, and Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife. So this was the first meeting, and what happened, the big thing was Josh Betzworth had prepared a draft memorandum of agreement that kind of talked about what would happen there. It was, I don't know, 5 or 6 pages, and we went through that. And so the proposal is to put a fish hatchery down on Pony Creek on middle school and high school property. What they did talk about was there's really 2 technical challenges, and one of them is the salinity, can't get that out. Salinity of Pony Creek is intertidal, and so the salinity may be higher than normal where you would raise smolts at. So they're going to do some work on that, measuring salinities at high tide, low tide, and the other things to find a freshwater source. And there may be a spring on district property down there somewhere, somebody said. The forward plan is ODF&W and others will obtain the salinity measurements, take them a couple months to get. If the salinity is too high in Pony Creek, what it means is they'll raise the smolts up in Millicoma in predominantly fresher water. So they want to kind of know that before we move forward. So, and then on the funding side, everyone wants to know who's going to pay for this thing. I didn't anyway. So it sounded like STEP, the STEP group, Millicoma STEP, writes grants, and they will fund the capital, pretty much the capital building, whatever equipment it needs to be bought for it. And it was mentioned that our CTE construction group could help build the building because there's a building to be built down there. And so the only mention for funding on North Bend, the district side, was the electrical costs, the monthly utility costs. So anyway, exciting project for the students, community, more involved. Okay, communications 4B. Ellie, student representatives to the board, high school representatives, Ellie.
Eli and I don't think Eli and Wayne are
Eli,
here.
But I don't know, I was thinking that maybe Clara could double, but I don't know if she wants to. Like, maybe just like sports, like, I don't know, like, they usually talk about sports, like, proms coming up with that. If you want to, we're good here. Yeah. Somebody else want to come with me? Yeah.
Bring it out, buddy.
Thank you, ladies. You can sit or stand.
What's going on in school?
Recently, we just had our first men's volleyball game, which I was super exciting. It's a new emerging sport. We also have the girls like flag football who've had a few games recently, and they're doing really well. And we won the game in the boys volleyball as well.
Who did we play? Do you know? Okay. That's okay. I was just kidding.
I know.
Mario, it was sweet. It was a sweet.
I know band is on its way to state, which I think is very exciting for a band. They're a very great, amazing band. And I think it's very important for the school to like have this kind of like resource for everybody. I think it's very important. I think it's just very nice to have a really great band. They make the games, honestly.
Yeah, yes.
We have prom soon. It's May 17th. The theme is gonna be Hollywood. And we're gonna have it at the same place we did last year at the Bristol Center. I'm personally really excited. I'm a senior this year, so it's my last prom.
Is there a song? Is there a prom song? Do you still do, back in the day, they did prom, you know, you had the theme of prom versus song. No? Okay.
I don't think so.
Think about that for next year, but.
Got it.
And, you could go out and play.
Just another high school play. That's a theater production coming up. Yeah. It's going on next weekend, not this upcoming weekend. And it's basically just about a high school theater club struggling to make its way onto the stage.
That sounds fun.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, thank you for doing it. Hey, communications 4C. Association report, North Bend Education Association report. Here you go. Eva Varga.
Hello, hello. It's a small group of you tonight. It's beautiful weather. They're all playing hooky. We have a lot going on. Hillcrest PTA is organizing a carnival this coming Saturday. And it's the first time we've had carnivals in the past, but this is the first one since COVID. So everyone's really looking forward to that. It promises to be a really fun day. Kindergarten registration and Marathon Madness are both in full swing, as well as state testing, which is less exciting, but those are all happening right now. So they spend a lot of their day in the building testing, and then they get to go outside and run some of that energy off. So it's a good balance to have both of those at the same time. Spring sports is also happening, of course, and that brings a lot of students out of the high school. They're frequently absent. But also that's an exciting opportunity for them to go out and compete. So like we want them to do that, but it does impact the time in the classroom. But one of the most amazing things that has happened at the high school level, I'm hoping I'm not stealing someone's thunder, but Christina took a group of students up to Salem, yes, to meet with Jane Goodall, and more on that later. Excellent. But I just am so excited that they had that opportunity. And at Bridges, they've hatched out some chickens. I guess 11 chicks hatched, and there are now 6 that are like full grown because I weeded out I don't know how they do it, but some are like not they don't grow up. I don't know. I don't know what they do. But anyway, there's like 6 fully grown chickens. They like doubled in size in just a few days or a week or something like that. So that's pretty exciting. And they've also had an opportunity to visit a lambing farm. So they got to see some baby lambs. OBOB has finished their season and placed second in state this year. They had I'm gonna read Allie's email. She said they had an amazing round of pool play in the morning, winning all 4 games that they played, a feat that involved beating last year's state champions by 20 points. They finished pool play with 198 points, placing us in second in the bracket seeding. And then in Elite 8, they handedly beat Madras and cruised past Benson in the Final Four to make to the stage for the final battle against Lebanon. And the girls played really well. It came down to just one last question. And so the final score was 70-80. So Aubrey, Betty, Cadence, and Francis were all amazing. And they were amazing all day long. And we're all very proud of the OBOB team. So and then also of the graduating class this year, there are 5 students who will be graduating with the seal of biliteracy. Paloma Ledesma, who was in fact the first one who took the test and scored very, very well. And her taking the test a few years ago kind of boosted and encouraged others to take it. So in addition to Paloma, Luis de la Torre, Rosales, Juliana de la Torre, and who are all students who've been in the school district for a long time. But we also have 2 exchange students, Polina Lelikova and Felix Sauer, have also earned the seal of biliteracy. So that's really exciting to celebrate. And then moving on to the slides to celebrate staff, there's several staff members we'd like to recognize this month. I think the first one is Austin Brazell. He works in SEL and also helps out in kindergarten at Hillcrest Elementary. He's a wonderful member of our staff. He works tirelessly with our students who often need a little extra support to manage their day. He recently coordinated a school-wide kindness challenge, whereupon he created these little posters with tear-off tabs on the bottom of them with like kindness quotes and inspirational messages. And so you could see students and staff both tearing off these messages. They'd stop at the poster and read, and they would take a little tab and they'd stick it in their pocket and keep it with them. Sometimes they would give them to other people. So it was just a really cool thing to see. And getting to know Austin has also been just a wonderful reminder for me that we really do live in a very small world. So come to discover, I lived in Northern California for just a short time of my life for 4 years. And coincidentally, Austin also lived in the same area. And so we have some common friends that we didn't know. Anyway, so it's just really cool. Like, oh, wow, like I can read that. Anyway, so moving on, the next one is Ed Nichols. And this past year, Ed has created what he titled Neuro Notes, a series of professional development infographics for the Hillcrest staff that provided us with like research-based information about brain science, about stress and trauma. And each edition also provided, there was like a little video you could click and follow to learn more. And there were strategies that we could use to bring that information back to our classroom. He also works really closely with the Oregon STEM Hub and offers and has in the past enrichment opportunities for students. This coming summer, there's like a Code, Dance, and Create, which is a free summer camp for students in grades 4 through 8 to learn coding, dance, and drumming. And so it's really great to see Ed bring those opportunities to our students. I know that when he was at North Bay, he coordinated some weed pulls and other exciting like after school and Saturday events for families, and he continues to bring that spirit to Hillcrest. And the next 2, these 2 were both nominated by their 4th grade team member, Nora Collins, who said of her colleagues, these team members always have my back. They bring me coffee and other treats, and they have encouraged me through this very difficult year. Their presence and camaraderie have brought me a lot of joy. So Lauren Peterson and Lanny Sherrill. And next up, we have Frank Murphy. Frank is a giver. If you ask him to help out, his response is invariably, sure, whatever you need. He has spearheaded the Veterans Day celebrations at the high school over the past several years. He's fed staff at lunch and at after-school activities, and his students have not been left out of these meals either. On many weekends, he is out in the community providing service for a multitude of events and always has a cadre of young aspiring cooks with him. And for many students at North Bend High School, his program and his personality have been a solid foundation. He always goes the extra mile, and that's from Dustin Hood. Frank also was, I'm missing the right word, but very important in the recent Peru dinner that Rafael Concha planned this last Saturday, and it was very successful, sold out. So the food was amazing, entertainment was wonderful, and I know the Spanish Club raised a lot of money for their trip to Peru next month. And lastly, Leah Johnston, she was nominated by Jenny Brown. Leah is in her first year in her new role as the primary literacy coach. She continues to impress her colleagues with her vast knowledge and passion for literacy instruction and practices. She embodies what it means to be an instructional coach. And she's always willing to step in and support staff and students no matter the task. She provides clear and consistent direction and stands out as a leader within our district. No question or task too big or too small, as she truly goes out of her way to understand everyone's needs and learning styles, like the learning styles of the teachers, and always does it with kindness and professionalism. So bravo, Leah. That's everybody. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Thank you. Okay, 4D, Christina Geierman, Science National Honor Society update.
We've had a really great year. We have a wonderful group of students and we've had some really cool opportunities come our way. And these folks are going to introduce themselves and tell you about the slides as we go through.
Hi, I'm Laura Wirlis. I am a high school junior currently at North Bend High School. I am the vice president of SNHS.
I'm Aubrey Moore. I'm also junior and I'm the secretary of SNHS. I'm Sasha Holt and I'm the treasurer of SNHS.
Hi, I'm Clara Messner. I'm a senior and I'm a member of SNHS.
I am Talon Winborn and I'm also a senior and a member of SNHS.
Starting off, Oktoberfish was one of the first things we did, which was back in October, and it's basically like a fun festival based on science related groups and invites a lot of attraction for music and food. But what we contributed was we have pictures of like oobleck, which is a kind of a weird solid liquidy substance for kids to play with, along with little ball robots that kids can control, as well as little making your own ice cream DIY stations. And we tried to provide a way for kids to be inspired to have an interest in future in science. I think Kim's it.
So one of our big, I guess, fundraisers at North Bend High School is our can recycling. So we have blue cans all around the high school that are for SNHS. And basically, every Friday we have volunteers that go around and we just collect the cans up and then we bring them to auto drop using the blue bags, which are for clubs and stuff. And honorable mention, so Brayden Castilla, he is an amazing guy. So he's kind of spearheading the whole can recycling thing. He has signed himself up for every single day, the whole year of the can recycling thing. He has spent countless hours. So it's good he's getting some recognition for that, because without him, SNHS, I don't think we'd be funded for a lot of the things we've done, like going up to all of our the Jane Goodall trip, all those things. Like the funding for SNHS is like really driven by the can thing. So yeah, I think figured we mentioned that. It's been really successful.
Okay, so the State of the Coast Conference happens each year in the fall, and it's a really great first conference because it's for the general audience. So it's not in science speak, it's something that everybody can understand. And we were able to take 10 students all the way up to Seaside. It wound up being an overnight trip, but we got to talk to people from the Big Fish Lab at OSU. We had a presentation on sharks. We got to do some art, and these guys got to experience, just what's a plenary session? How do breakout sessions work? And if everything goes to plan, some of the people presenting tonight will be presenting their own scientific research at our next State of the Coast conference, which will be here in Coos Bay.
Okay, this is me and Clara. So, at Seaside, we recently acquired our autonomous sailboat, and her name is Hesperia. And can you talk about it, what, Claire?
So this boat will allow us to gather all different kinds of research, and the way that we're going to do it is, so far we have installed a water temperature sensor, which is at the bottom of the.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Okay, but really cool. So we have our water temperature sensor that goes through the hole down here, and then we have a solar panel, an air temperature sensor, and a camera. And then on the inside, we have a whole module that controls everything, the GPS unit. And so me and Clara have kind of been spearheading this as the engineering team for the boat. So both of us aspire to be engineers in the future. After we finish graduating, so yeah.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of work to do it so far, and then we also had Maria, she's also suggested she painted the same for us. And then soon, we're hoping that we will get to go to Newport and launch it.
30th, we are scheduled on the research vessel Pacific Storm. And what's going to be really significant is this is the first time usually it's middle schoolers that do this, and it's mostly their teacher. This was very little me. I provided the kit. We had an engineer come down from OSU to help with the sensors, and he's like, well, your kids did it right. And he didn't have to do anything to assist them. The students have been doing the assembly, and they will be able to launch it. And you have to be 16 to go on an ocean-going vessel, so we'll be the first crew in the Pacific where the students who built the ship launched the ship.
Really cool, guys.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
How do you guys choose that?
As for the water, area.
So will you come back and show us the data that you bring?
Yeah, and it will be uploading continuously to the web, so there'll be a website where scientists and the general public can just go in and see where the ship is and what the water conditions are. A lot's known about the large scale current system in the Pacific, but the small scale stuff isn't very well known, and that's why we got to participate in this program. It still fills in some of the gaps.
What kind of engineers are you guys interested in being?
I want to be an environmental engineer.
And then I'm looking into mechanical.
I'm a petroleum engineer. Good. Well, it's a neat project, yeah, we look forward to you come back and show us some data, like a chart.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
we launched the heat here and.
Back in my day, it's called cool. I don't know what it's called anymore, but that's pretty cool.
You guys expect to end up in the garbage patch since you're small?
Right. The Yaquina Never Sink that launched out of Walport this fall went between the Big Island and Maui. It was within 3 miles of land. They had a crew ready to recover it, but it kept on going. And eventually this is going to wash ashore. Danielle Kelly is making us some custom bandanas that the folks who recover it can keep the bandanas, and they have instructions to send it back to North Bend High School so the next batch of students can refit it, launch it again.
How are they gonna send it back? I think so.
We'll hope they send it back. Let's see if whoever finds it.
That is with collect on delivery.
Okay, so this was mentioned earlier, but yes, we all got to go see Jane Goodall. We'd always talk as NHS as if like, if someone super famous like Jane Goodall ever came to Oregon, we would totally have to go. And then Jane Goodall actually came to Oregon, so we were very excited. It was an all-nighter trip. We left at like 2?
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, we left at like 2 in the afternoon and we drove all the way up to Salem. And then we went to the show, which was like 2 hours, and Jane Goodall was amazing. She had so much energy. She was standing for like the whole time. I was shocked. There was chairs and she did not sit in them until the very end. And she was very inspiring. She told us like her entire life story and how she went and studied it's not gorillas, the chimpanzees. Wow. I swear I was paying attention. Yeah, she went and studied the chimpanzees and she talked about how her mom like actually helped her and she wouldn't have been able to go without that support. And then she talked about like her conservation efforts and what inspired her to like go vegan and save the planet and start speaking at these kind of events. And then she ended on a hopeful note that she really thinks that we can do something with our lives and like save the planet. So that was really inspiring. And then we all got back on the bus and we got home at like midnight and went to school the next day. But it was so worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some pictures of Dr. Jane Goodall.
Yes.
Well, of us seeing Dr. Jane Goodall.
25 kids
Mhm.
and 3 teachers.
So one of our upcoming events is a planetarium show held by the SWAC Spirit Team. They do a bunch of high school internships for anyone between 9th and 12th grade. And I was actually able to do one of those internships at SWAC. I was researching how micrometeorites affect plant growth, but we also do a whole bunch of public outreach over there, one of which is the planetarium. And with SNHS, we were able to coordinate, and now we have an upcoming show May 19th. It's going to be about dinosaurs and geology. We're going to be able to watch one of the shows in the planetarium at SWAC, and I think it's going to be an amazing time.
Thank you for your time.
How many people can fit in that planetarium?
I would say about 15 if you squeeze them all in there.
Thank you for that. 4E, North Bend High School Trio Program, Emma Meyer.
Hey.
Sure. You guys want to-
Oh, I could just really
Standing, yeah.
Yeah. My name's Emma Meyer. I'm the Upward Bound Specialist for the TRIO program that we run at North Bend High School. And Laura here, who you've already met, is an Upward Bound participant. And then my colleague Natalie can introduce herself.
I'm Natalie Morrow. I'm the Educational Talent Specialist at North Bend High School.
And we just have a little presentation that we would like to share with everybody. Just in hopes that we can use you guys as advocates to the TRIO program and we can show you guys all of the good work that we're doing at not just North Bend High School, but also at Marshfield and a lot of our North Bend middle schools as well. Yeah. Thank you. So we have started this new program with our TRIO program, and it's for student ambassadors. So basically the aim is to allow our high school students to gain knowledge and experience in being leaders. So Laura, would you mind sharing a little bit about your experience?
Not at
with
all.
Student ambassador program?
I am an Upward Bound student ambassador with the TRIO program, and it really focuses on leadership and skills to use later on in life. We are doing an HD 199 class, I think, at SWAC, where it just focuses on producing leaders and making it so that our student ambassadors can help not only their school, but their students and the community.
A great thing about the student ambassador program is we have students in this program from all of our different high schools around Curry and Coos County. So Laura's getting experience with students from Brookings Harbor High School, Pacific and others. So we've also taken them on a student leadership retreat at at the Siskiyou Field Institute, and they got to do some team bonding on the high ropes or low ropes course, and again just got to get more knowledge and experience and leadership. So, and unfortunately, oh, sorry, it's okay. MJ is our talent search ambassador, but she wasn't able to be here with us.
So in 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson was president, and he initiated the War on Poverty, which allowed for several programs to be created, such as the Job Corps, Head Start, and Upward Bound, the first TRIO program of 3. for exceptionally talented and exceptionally needy students. In 1965, President Lyndon B. Johnson's Higher Education Act generated educational talent search, like what Natalie does, which was the second of the 3 TRIO programs. In 1965 as well, the Office of Education funded 42 of these projects, serving over 50,000 students nationwide. 1968, Congress initiated the program now known as Student Support Services, SSS, to support college students. This 3rd TRIO program is what completed the TRIO, in which now there are 7 TRIO programs. In 1980, Congress standardizes eligibility for TRIO programs to enroll first-generation college students from low-income households. And 2024, last year, we celebrated 60 years as TRIO. Oh, sure. The Educational Talent Search programs assist eligible individuals who have the potential to succeed. And they support those participants to graduate from high school and continue on to complete post-secondary education. Since they are first-generation individuals, they don't really get a lot of help. They don't have their parents as a source to get into colleges and beyond. So it's very important. And Upward Bound provides a lot of the academic support as well. And it really enriches high school students from the same low-income families and first-generation college students. And it prepares them for post-secondary education as well. But it also does after-school programs, summer enrichment, and just a whole bunch of guidance. There's career exploration, and we do a lot of college campus visits in Oregon and out of Oregon as well. And there's field trips and cultural enrichment. They do a lot of assistance. I go to Emma a lot for support with college applications, scholarships, post-secondary pathways, and just a whole bunch of stuff. Those are called the workshops. And that's just where I get a whole bunch of my literacy for college and finance. And they also do provide SAT and ACT, test prep, which is provided in 24/7 online tutoring, which they also do for other classes, not just standardized tests.
So like I mentioned, we have programs in multiple schools around our area. We can serve 6th graders through 12th graders in our educational talent search and Upward Bound programs. And then like Laura mentioned, our SSS program at SWOC serves those college students. But we have, like I said, Natalie and I work at North Bend. We have an Upward Bound and ETS program at Marshfield. And yeah, those are the 2 programs that we have specifically at North Bend High School. And then we have educational talent search at the middle school as well.
Talent Search is a federally funded free college preparatory program whose purpose is to encourage students to stay in high school and graduate and enrolled in continued education after high school. Some of the eligibility requirements, but you don't have to meet all of them, are U.S. citizenship or permanent resident status, potential first-generation college student, and meets low-income eligibility requirements. Some of our services include financial literacy and academic advising, college and career field trips, and free access to tutoring.
So our Upward Bound program is very similar to the ETS program, except for we serve a smaller amount of students because we're a bit more intensive on the amount of time we spend with our students and what we expect from our students. So again, Upward Bound is federally funded through the Department of Ed, and we serve first-generation low-income students. And our hope is that they are college bound. Being part of Upward Bound, our hope is to get you to college, or, I mean, we encourage post-secondary, any post-secondary route, but really college is Upward Bound's the goal to Upward Bound really. So we provide academic support, 24/7 tutoring, like Laura said, college application help, essay help, scholarship help, really anything that the students need to be successful throughout high school and then off and into college. So what also separates our 2 programs is that Upward Bound provides a 6-week summer academic enrichment program that we host on SWOC's campus. And we also offer 2 free college classes to our matriculating seniors that are going to SWOC next year. They're able to take 2 free classes in the summer as well. And again, all of the services that we offer, all of the snacks, all of the meals, everything we provide to students is completely free to them and their families.
Some of the things that came out of last year, we had academic persistence at 90%. The students successfully completed their classes and moved on to the next grade level. We had 90%, 91% graduation rate. Students graduated on time with a regular high school diploma. We had a 65% rigorous curriculum. So they graduated on time with a regular high school diploma and took at least one successful year of world language. And we had 50% college and 57% college enrollment. So they enrolled in a degree seeking program. In Upward Bound, you can tell, so Natalie has more than 119 students now, closer to 130, but I only serve those 25 exclusively. And we have 100% success rate for last year's outcomes, which is really, really awesome. And it's easier to do that with a lesser number of people, but these students are really motivated and willing and ready to go to their next level. Something that's really awesome that we actually celebrated today at SWAC with our graduating trio seniors is today's National Commitment Day. And so we had all of our matriculating seniors at SWAC for a cord ceremony. They were all cord eligible based off of the guidelines that we set as a team. And then we did some laptop drawing. So how many laptops did we do? We gave 25 total away today to seniors that are headed to college, and those were funded through grants. And yeah, the Coquille Tribe provided us an awesome grant for those laptops. So again, this program serves low income first generation students, and it's a lot of them don't have any, if any, resources to get to where they want to be, even in high school sometimes. So to be able to provide laptops like this to seniors is a huge deal, because we all know we're tech savvy world, and you need that to survive in college. So we just really wanted to highlight that program, especially that it was cool that it worked out to be at this board meeting today with the event we had earlier today, where we got to give out all those laptops. So the little note down there is, if you'd like to support this program and donate to us for this specific program, our director is right here. Her name is Leanne Veritek, and you can contact her directly. Yeah, we can move on to the next one. Yeah. So I would just say, Laura, I want to talk about a little, because we, as an Upward Bound program, were able to take 20 high school students from Marshfield and North Bend. We took 12 from North Bend, 8 from Marshfield, to New York City and Washington, D.C. in December. And it was awesome, right? We were there for a week. We got to visit NYU, Howard, Pace, Georgetown, and Columbia, which I think really sparked a big interest in Laura. So I would, if you're open to it, I would ask you to just share a little bit about your experience and thoughts on Columbia and where it's led you to maybe your plans for the summer.
Oh yeah. So Columbia, it was amazing. First of all, it was a beautiful campus, and it was just so culturally enriching. It was in the middle of New York City, excuse me, which is known as a cultural melting pot. There is so many people there, and the pace is much quicker than North Bend, which isn't a bad thing, but it isn't really a good thing. But it's one of the things that drew me. I did like the pace a bit. But what I really liked about Columbia was their push for study abroad. That's something that definitely interests me later on. They had a huge push to get students out there into the world. Our tour guide, for example, he helped with the Paris Olympics. That was something that I thought was really cool, and kind of just made me want to go to Columbia even more. Not to mention they have great academics, so 4% acceptance rate, who cares? But they're amazing. And it was very nice for me to go and see Columbia. It really pushed me to just go and do something more, just to try a little bit harder. And that's what I think the whole Trio Upward Bound program does. It just pushes you. So I applied to the Questbridge College Prep Scholars Program and got accepted like 2 weeks ago. And basically what that does is it nominates me to several different colleges around the US, and they will accept me or deny me for a summer pre-college program. Questbridge is partnered with Harvard, Columbia, Caltech, MIT, and a whole bunch of others that are really top schools in the country. I've already received some word from Bowdoin and Williams about some of their fall programs. So it's just really exciting to be getting out there into the world and experiencing something like this. And I know I wouldn't have been able to without the help of Emma, Deanne, and Natalie.
So I just want to say, if you take anything from this presentation, just take her story and keep it close to your heart, because that's why we do this work, is because we want to inspire and help as many students as we can. And TRIO, like I said, is a federally funded program, and so in a political climate like we're in, it's kind of wishy-washy and it's scary for our students and for the people that work in TRIO, and it's a nationwide program, but we just ask for your support and continued support, and just push for the TRIO program in general.
Yeah, I think you were asking for people to support you. I used to actually do this when I worked at SWAC, so I used to teach classes in the summertime. Help the upward bound students, so it was really nice to see them move on to that, become professionals, or go to college, and now many of them make more money than I do. It's really nice to see you guys come through and do the thing, so, yeah, definitely, it's a great program. So
Thank you.
you guys do good work.
Thank you. Yeah. Are there any more questions?
Okay, got a question. Anyone in three can answer. So one of the things you guys do is you focus on leadership. So when you think about leadership and maybe you've worked for some good leaders, what traits do they have that made them good leaders, or one trait?
I would say communication with their team. I think it's very important to see what the team is feeling and not just what you as a leader is feeling. And that is something that is heavily encouraged with the student ambassador program. There's a whole bunch of communication between all of us. We are very friendly with each other. And I think honestly that push at the start for the just to get to know each other, it was amazing. And I think it would not have been the same without it. It's really important just to have that communication in the team.
Good answer.
You got a good start, you're very well spoken.
Yeah.
I used to help with Miss County, and you do one of the things that we love, which is you don't say a lot of and so it's great speaking.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent report, Ms. Swaggerty.
This is so unfair. Good luck, the Science National Honor Society and TRIO program. So
Where you go?
I feel so well, you have my written report. I do want to remind us that next week, 1 week from tonight, is the first meeting of our budget committee, which you are all part of that, but for the next 2 weeks, and hopefully not 3 weeks, but potentially 3, if we're have a lot to work through, but for the next couple of weeks, we'll be doing that, and then so just keep that on your agenda. Hopefully everyone will get well, so that we will all be here in person. And then, June 6th, there's kind of a big day coming up, June 6th, where, the funny flat hats and we're wearing the same robe. And all these weird people coming in, all dressed exactly alike, wearing weird hats, happens on June 6th. The entire board, of course, is invited. If you can't be there, I'd like for you to join us on stage and be a part of the graduation ceremony at North Bend High School in our gymnasium. That's exciting to come up. Tomorrow is kind of a cool day. Tomorrow is the National Lunch Hero Day. And so I just wanted to mention that Amy had mentioned that today. And so all of our food service employees and our buildings are just doing an amazing job from top to bottom. From Amy and Gina and the work that they do to make that program stay viable, and to do the work they do to provide food to kids every day, through all the workers to make that happen. So we just want to honor that group. Also, literally found out, and I apologize to the principals who are in the room. I found out like at 4 o'clock this afternoon that, today is National Principals Day. Of course, I found out this afternoon. I will have to figure it out how I'm going to honor the principals different than just saying something in here, but that also is today. And then on Tuesday night, I get to have a little fish and invite cookies at McTeacher Night, the PTO out at North Bay, held their McTeacher Night on Tuesday. And then I was wondering if Eva was gonna mention something else that today is about. You posted it on your Facebook page, but I want to mention, today is kind of a special day, and that is May 1st, is celebrated as International Workers' Day. Also known as- And so, what I think is, wonderful about that, it's not exactly, well, it's a coincidence, but it's kind of a cool coincidence, is that we have our opportunity tonight to consider, an action item, a contract agreement between, our teachers and, on our board in our district. And I think it's just so, wonderful that that can come on International Worker Day, so that we can celebrate those who work so hard to make it all happen. And I am only here because my parents were. You have any problem with each side? In union jobs that made sure that they had fair pay, had health insurance, and they had an opportunity, so that I could be like trio people, the first college graduate on either side of my family, as many generations as I could research. And so I'm the first generation college student, so opportunities that I have are because my parents were hardworking union labor people. So I just appreciate that, and I appreciate you even the work that you do. And so I want to honor that.
Thank you, Vince. Okay, agenda item 5, action consent agenda items. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve?
A motion to approve, is there one that has,
No, that's just
not, okay. I move to approve.
So there's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion? So we'll move to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Carol's 4-0. So. Okay, agenda item 6, National School Nurse Day resolution. We have a school nurse in here? Would a board member like to read the agenda item 6, National School Nurse Day resolution? Okay, it's about a page and a half. It's a big read.
It's quite a read.
Yeah.
I'll start with that. What's the text of the resolution? Or background, or is this on here again?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, we'll do it. National School Nurse Day has been observed annually since 1982. In 2025, it will be observed on May 7th. National School Nurse Day was established to foster a better understanding of the role of school nurses in the educational setting. School nurses support students and student health each and every day of the year. On National School Nurse Day, we take a special time to celebrate and recognize the contributions that school nurses are making to the health and learning of our nation's 70 million children. Text of the resolution is as follows. Whereas children are the future, and by investing in them today, we are ensuring our world for tomorrow. And whereas all students have the right to have their health and safety needs met while in a school setting. Whereas children today face more complex and life-threatening health problems requiring care in school. And whereas school nurses have served a critical role in improving public health and ensuring students' academic success for more than 100 years. And whereas school nurses are professional nurses that advance the well-being and lifelong achievements of all students by serving on the front lines and providing critical safety net for our nation's most fragile children. And whereas school nurses act as a liaison to the school community, parents, and healthcare providers on behalf of the children's health by promoting wellness and improving health outcomes for our community's children. Whereas school nurses are members of school-based mental health teams, and whereas school nurses understand the link between health and learning and are in a position to make a positive difference for children every day. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Bend School District Board of Directors celebrates and acknowledges the accomplishments of school nurses everywhere and their efforts at meeting the needs of today's students by improving the delivery of healthcare in our schools, and offers gratitude to school nurses who contribute to our community by helping students stay healthy in school and ready to learn, and keeping parents and guardians at work, not just on this National School Nurse Day, but at every opportunity throughout the year. Be it further resolved that the North Bend School District Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join with it in personally expressing appreciation to our school nurses for their dedication and devotion to their work, and proclaims May 7th, 2025 National School Nurse Day, adopted the first day of May 2025. So I would like to motion to approve resolution 2025 as set forth above.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve resolution 2025-07 as set forth above. Any discussion? Okay, the vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carol's in 4-0. 4-4, period. Okay. Thank you, nurse. Next up, agenda item 7, Teacher Appreciation Week resolution. Is there another member of the board?
I have to get my glasses. Oh. Teacher Appreciation Week is celebrated every year during the first full week of May. In 2025, it will be observed May 5th through 9th. The North Bend School District honored their certified staff during the week of April 7th through 11th, 2025. The North Bend School District currently employs 122 certified employees. Our educators play a pivotal role in our students' lives, inspiring a lifelong love of learning and discovery, and making a difference in their well-being and long-term success. The work they do and skills they bring to the North Bend School District is immeasurable. Whereas teachers mold future citizens through guidance and education, and whereas teachers encounter students of widely different backgrounds, and whereas our country's future depends upon providing quality education to all students, and whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling and coaching students, and performing community service, and whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community. Now therefore be it resolved that the North Bend School District Board of Directors proclaims May 5th through the 9th, 2025 to be Teachers Appreciation Week. And be it further resolved that the North Bend School District Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join with it in personally expressing appreciation for our teachers for their dedication and devotion to their work, adopted this first day of May 2025. Motion is I move to approve resolution 2025-08 as set forth above.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve. Right, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. 4-0 for.
Thank you, much appreciated. You guys do a wonderful job.
We did have a great week. A lot of certified and certified in here.
Okay, agenda item 8, North Bend Education Association Agreement Action.
Thank you, Eva, for joining.
You're welcome.
So we engaged in our certified negotiations. We had a total of 3 meetings, and I would like to say that it was a very positive experience.
Yes, I concur.
That's
3 meetings,
Sure.
yes, yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was good. We all sat like alternately at the table, like administration, teacher, administration, teacher, and it just felt like a nice little dinner party, and we had conversation and came to a mutual agreement, so it worked out really well.
Yeah, very collegial, and we could, both sides were able to just kind of talk through things and listen and give feedback to one another and come to a very nice agreement. On your cover page there, you have the members for NBEA. The main people at the table were Eva Varga, Zach Martin, Jennifer Hample, Nico Friedman, and then on the last session, Jenna Dixon sat in for Nico. For the district, we had myself, Vince Waggerty, Michelle Cook, and Lori Sullivan. So I highlighted, the contract is in here, and we highlighted the major changes for you. And we came to an agreement on year one, 5% cost of living adjustment with no insurance increase. So that remains the same, but in year two, a 4% cost of living adjustment with an insurance increase of $50. So bringing that total contribution to $1,712 in year two. One thing I think that both sides were really excited to offer in this agreement were the stipends for our specialists. It's important that these positions are hard to fill, and the work they do is hard and stressful as well, and we know everybody's is. But there's an extra level of complexity to these roles, and again, finding licensed people to do them is really difficult. So we were able to offer our school psychologist a $15,000 stipend. Special education teachers, so resource room, life skills, an extra $5,000 stipend. This would be for fully licensed staff. School nurses, a $3,000 stipend. School counselors, a $3,000 stipend. Another thing I think that we were both very excited to come to an agreement on was a pathway for CTE teachers to advance on pay columns. Our CTE teachers often come to us and remain in the first column because their pathway through, their experience in life and in their career is different than that. Someone who goes into education to become a teacher, so they often don't have the same level of degrees, but we still need to find a way to acknowledge their experience and what they're offering to our students. So we came to an agreement on the way that they can advance on the pay columns, which was really exciting. And of course, there's some smaller changes throughout. Some of things, very minor in terms of us switching from trimesters to semesters. There's some wording that changed regarding some legalities, or just cleaning up some language from things we've learned. Maybe we didn't word something the way we wanted to, and we just want to make sure it's clear for future staff members, certified staff members, and administrators, so that they get interpreted correctly in the future. And some additional coaching stipends were added. So we added a stipend for emerging sports, OBOB, the Oregon Battle of the Books, and the Knowledge Bowl were included in there too, because those are, they have competitions associated with them. So it felt very fair to add those to the coaching stipend list. Anything we're missing there?
One of the smaller things that I was excited to see was in the old contract, we had language for teachers who obtained national board certification. And I had previously had national board certification. It expired and I wasn't at the classroom at the time. I couldn't renew it, but anywho, since the time when I've returned to North Bend, it's the way it was worded is that if you hold national board certification, you would move over on a column. But if you were already at column 5, there's nowhere to go. You can't move over again. And if I wanted to achieve national boards again, there's no incentive for me to do that other than, just my own personal gain. And so we changed the language so that it's a stipend, $1,500 a year annual stipend if you have national board certification. And in addition, we also added something similar that the Oregon TSPC does called a teacher leader license. So it's a teacher that has proven that they go above and beyond what's required of them in the regular classroom, and they're doing a lot of professional development. They're bringing that professional development back to the classroom, but also working with their colleagues and helping to improve the practices across the district. So we felt that was equal to national boards. So that also has a $1,500 annual stipend. So
That's a good one to bring up. I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up. That was one of the different, endorsements that I have through the Oregon Department of Education is the teacher, leader license in mathematical instruction. So I can definitely vouch for that. It is a lot of work to get that teacher leader license. So it's nice that those teachers can be honored as well. Like I said, very positive, Vince, anything you want to add?
It's really, appreciate, we sat, a good discussion, respectful discussion. And I'm just gonna say, I'm aware of aspects of the bargaining that's happening in our region. And some of those sessions are pretty contentious. And some of the things that are being asked by the associations in those districts are extreme. And when our association came in with their initial offer, I knew it was gonna be okay. Because they didn't come in with the offer that I'm hearing happening all across the region. They came in with a respectful, thoughtful offer, right? And then as we negotiated, we continued to negotiate with respect and with the language and all the pieces and the parts. And we were able to work together to create what we have, as opposed to fight against each other and come out somewhere in the middle where both sides are battered and bruised. That's not the experience we had. I do recommend approval. I believe this is a fair agreement.
Well, I gotta give it to you guys, I've been a part of a lot of bargaining meetings, with classified staff, as the president of the union and on the other side. And I will tell you, it took us at least 3 meetings to figure out the ground. So the fact that you guys got this done in 3 meetings is amazing. And a testament to both sides, that's really great. So I move to approve the agreement between the North Bend School District 13 and the North Bend Education Association for the term of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2027.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion and a second, and the motion is, I move to approve the agreement between the North Bend School District number 13 and the North Bend Education Association for the term of July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027.
Chair, can I request that we have a roll call vote?
Yes, sir. We will have a roll call vote. Any discussion?
Is everybody happy with it?
98.4% of certified staff.
Who responded to the survey said yes.
That's
That's great.
We'll proceed to the vote if there's no more discussion. First one, Carol Yardley. Yay or nay? Yay?
came out, yeah.
Yay. Yeah, I think she's.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah. I think she, okay, we're saying that's a yay.
Yeah,
Looked like.
Dallas Petenbrink,
Yeah.
yes. Yay.
Jim Jordan, yay. So 4-0. The motion passed.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's great.
Excellent.
I would like to thank Tim Kreider for that, and he handled a couple recent negotiations, and I think it's been collegial. And I was involved in a negotiation early days, and it was not collegial. So, and I've seen a lot of negotiation styles, and that one was quite memorable.
Yeah, it was. Learned a lot.
Yeah,
Good learning experience.
yes, it was.
Well, they're all learning experiences, some are good, some not so good.
I would like to say a couple of things about teachers and admin in general. So, when we got a new superintendent, this board picked a new superintendent, he started 1 July 2023. And then in August, we had a meeting, and we came up with 2 goals for the superintendent. And who knows what those goals were? Dana?
Academic achievement and student behavior, which impacts staff morale and culture, climate and culture.
Thank you. You've been following the plot. I appreciate that. So, yeah, and I'd just like to say that, the board actually does listen. It may take us a while, but we received in the course of the years a lot of feedback informally, Safeway, church, wherever. And teachers and administrators will come and talk to us. And what I've heard from Evo Garga also, and Christina Gardner, one of the biggest challenges for a teacher is student behavior. And so in order to support our teachers, and because it has such a big impact on academic achievement and teacher satisfaction and retention, that's a big thing. So yeah, that's a huge thing. I view teachers as the tip of the spear in the education. We just went through a strategic planning process with Performance Fact. And I love pictures, and they had a very simple picture with a circle that was the student, and then 2 concentric circles, but the next concentric circle was instructional effectiveness. And that resonated with me and others, so, yeah. So, just wanted to say that, you guys are the tip of the spear, and I'm glad to hear it's a well-received contract, and you get 90, it's tough to get 100% of it. So 98%, that's great. So, anyway, that's all I have on that. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 9, public hearing, Title 6, Indian Education.
Hi, good evening. My name is Dana Cahill, Director of Teaching and Learning. Nice to see you all. Carol, nice to see you.
Hey, Dave.
I'm here to share some highlights of the North Bend School District's Indian education offerings. North Bend School District is committed to supporting American Indian and Alaska Native students through a variety of opportunities that promote academic success and cultural pride. This work is also supported through programs like Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. That's a fancy way of saying our federal funding. These services, the federal funding, are based on individual student need and available to all who qualify, regardless of ethnicity. We're proud to partner with the Coos County History Museum and our local tribes to bring cultural programming, storytelling, and curriculum aligned with state content standards into the classroom. These partnerships also allow classrooms to access opportunities in the community. We work closely with our Tribal Attendance Promising Practices Grant Program, or TAP, which funds a family advocate for North Bend School District. The advocate's role includes supporting attendance and reducing tardiness, ensuring academic success, as well as coordinating and integrating cultural activities. Next Tuesday, May 6th, from 6 to 7, we will be holding our Indian Parent Committee meeting at the Hall of Champions. This is an annual meeting with an opportunity to review our Title VI Indian Education Grant for next year. But this year, at this Indian Education Parent Committee meeting, we're especially focused on building community. We've brought together to come to play the traditional Native American game of shinny, enjoy food, and celebrate together. Finally, I'd like to share with the board that North Bend School District has a unique opportunity to offer a 3-day professional development opportunity this June focused on Senate Bill 13. This is called Tribal History, Shared History. That's what Senate Bill 13 brings forward. This is a completely voluntary opportunity. It's for professional development. It's the 3 days right after school gets out for staff. So it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday outside of the contract. It's paid, it's an opportunity paid through a regional educators network, and it's intended for educators to deepen their understanding of Native American culture and better support our students. At this time, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do the teachers that go for this development, those are unpaid days, right?
Yeah, those are actually not contract days. So those are their summer days. And so this is this is voluntary.
Okay.
And it was open to any educator. So it could be a classified staff member, certified staff member. We have kind of a nice mix. I would say that of the registrants, we have more elementary staff present, but we do have kind of a nice mix of both certified and classified staff signed up. And it's not paid through North Bend School District, it's paid through another opportunity through a regional educator development network.
For your operating.
This is actually, yes, it is. This is an opportunity that came to us through the Oregon Indian Office of Indian Education. The person that oversees that is named Stacy Parrish. She oversees the TAP programming in the state of Oregon. And she came to us with this opportunity because of some of the exciting things that North Bend School District is doing with our TAP grant. Last year, or just to step back just a bit with the TAP grant piece, I know I'm talking about the Indian Education Grant, but over here with the TAP grant, we had a difficult time maintaining the same person in the role. It was previously a classified staff, and with that turnover, with hiring people, it became a lot of inconsistency. So we brought heads together, and we actually we braided some funds together, and in addition with the TAP funding, to fund a certified person in that role. Her name is Ruth Ellen Melton, and she's doing incredible things for students and staff across the district. And families, truly. She does a lot of contact with families. Her role is meant to encourage and increase attendance for all students K-5, but really targeting some of those students that may be identified as Alaskan, Indian American or Alaskan Native. Yes, thank you very much. It's at the Hall of Champions next Tuesday. Yes. Do we have? Sorry, we have to open it, sorry.
Okay, we will. Agenda item 9A, we will open the public hearing for Title VI Indian Education. 9B, we will go to public comments and questions. Is there anyone from the public who would like to make a comment or has any questions?
I'll make a comment to the public or staff. So I think this is the first year that North Bend School District is doing it primarily for North Bend School District. Is that what you were saying, David? The training, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, this is, we have not offered this training before as, Stacy Parrish, and this has been a training that this tribal student history, shared history, professional development that's happening in June. It's happened in other districts in the state of Oregon, but it has not come to North Bend before.
Okay.
And as far as I know, it had this particular professional development opportunity. We are one of the first on the South Coast to be offered this
So
opportunity.
I believe it was offered through the South Coast Willamette Regional Education Network a year or two ago. And it was to anybody in that region. So the Willamette School District, Willamette Education School District, and then the South Coast as well. And I participated in it then. And I'm just gonna say, it's very, very good. It is 3 days, they pay you, and it's an excellent, training. So I hope a lot of people take part in it. I don't know if I jumped in somewhere, but anyway.
Eva, thank you for that input. Thank you very much for that input. I didn't realize that.
Bullet support as a result, the 7 grandfathers one, and I know that was using it too, so. yeah.
Well, excellent. Thank you. I didn't realize that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any further public comments and questions? Okay, with that, 9C, we will close the public hearing on Title VI Indian Education.
Excellent. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, David. Okay, agenda item 10, K-5, 6 to 8, and 9 to 12, science curriculum update. Bruce.
Hey, I'm gonna come up here and start us out, and Dana's gonna correct me as we go through. as we do that. We'd hope to bring to you tonight a recommendation to adopt a K-12 science curriculum or curriculums at each of the levels that Jim just mentioned in there. But we're not quite at that point yet. We spent a lot of time looking at materials. And I think we're close at the high school level. Christina's put a recommendation before us, Christina Geierman at the high school, that encompasses what they'd like to see there that matches the standards at the state. And most of it is a readoption of what we currently have with some updated materials in there. At the high school, we use a set of materials that's used at over 70% of the school districts throughout the state. I believe it's called Patterns. Is that correct?
Yes, it was developed by teachers and
And it is aligned with that, and our materials still match that standard real well. We're gonna update some of the materials, and we're gonna replace some of the materials that are kind of threadbare in there, that really need to be replaced with the current editions that come out in there. But they're very happy with that set of materials, and it does a good job of matching that next generation science standards. So we'll be moving in that direction at the high school level. At K-8, it's a little different story as we looked at that. We looked at state standards out there, the next generation science standards. In our last curriculum that we adopted, the next generation science standards weren't in place when we adopted that. We looked at 7 to 10 publishers out there this time at each level, and we brought teachers in, and our idea was, let's limit this down to a couple publishers, bring them in, and we'll get a look at the top 2 in each of those areas in there. We had grade level teams from K-5 get together. They came in and we had them list the pros and cons of each of the programs that were out there. Things based upon things that made a difference to them. Ease of use, a tie to the standards in there, the rigor in there, and a high level of engagement, things that would engage kids and get them excited about learning. Out of that came the top 2 that we had, and the publishers came in last week and presented to our staff. When they came in, there's quite a difference in the publishers. And we're ready now to go to a vote to them and limit it to our top choice, and hopefully be able to bring that back to you at our June meeting. We also opened it for public input at all the levels as we went through, and we've had a few people look at the materials that have come in from the public to do that. 6-8 was a little bit different story in there. And you heard me talk about next generation science standards, and I know Christina's really familiar with those. But next generation science standards are really built on a different approach as you get in there. They're built upon this idea of cross-cutting concepts that go across all the different standards in there. And it's based on phenomena-based learning as you do that. And they found, research has kind of showed, especially at the younger years, that students retain the concepts much longer and become better problem solvers and have a deeper understanding with that integrated model. With that, at the district level, we talked about, we really need to take a look at that middle school level and do an integrated approach. The traditional approach has been, you teach, I think it's physical science at the 6th grade level, earth science at the 7th grade level, and life science at the 8th grade level. Or one grade level, you teach one strand in there. Well, the way the standards are now written, you cannot meet the standards at each grade level by doing that traditional approach in there. So we looked at publishers that had that integrated model. We found something really interesting as we dug into it. We found some publisher took their original materials and just said, okay, teach this 8th grade module at 7th grade along with these other modules, and throw a 7th grade module in there with a 6th grade. And so they just moved some of the things around and called that integrated science. Well, that's not really the idea of the next generation science standards. So we brought publishers in, the top 2 that we looked at, and as we brought them in and looked at that, we found that one did a pretty good job of doing an integrated approach, and the other one didn't. Just so happened that our top pick, the teacher's top pick at that point, was the one that didn't do as good a job with that integrated approach. So we said, golly, we really need to take a deeper look at this. And as we talked to the publisher, we said, one of the things we always ask when we get down to the last 2, who's using this curriculum in the state? Because we want to talk to somebody about whether that curriculum is effective, what the pros and cons of that are. When we asked this one publisher that's left, I said, who's using it in the state? Dana and I were both there, and they said, well, we're excited. You're going to be the first. And I said, whoa. I said, yeah. I'm not sure we want to be the first publisher when we're in the 2nd year of an adoption cycle in there. So Dana and I got on the phone, we said, let's call up the state science specialist.
May I say one thing very quickly here? That rep let one thing slip that was actually a little bit of a heads up for us. What she said was, you'd be the first in the state. Twig got the market, okay? So Twig got the market, which was another curriculum, meaning what she meant by that was that this curriculum had been adopted more in Oregon than their own. And so that was one little bit I wanted to throw in there.
Thank you, Dana. So we got on with the state science specialist and said, tell us what you're seeing around the state. What are people adopting? And exactly what Dana said there, Imagine Learning with their Twig program came to the forefront. So we immediately got to the rep, said, send us some materials, and those came early this week. And now we're going back both at the elementary level because we didn't feel we really took a look at that program at the elementary level. And we're definitely gonna take a look at it at the middle school level to match with the one other program we have. And out of those additional programs, plus what we had selected before that met those standards requirements, we hope to bring back to you in June a recommendation for a science curriculum that we really think will meet the needs of the student. We didn't want to rush through it. We wanted to make sure we picked the right program. It's a big investment. It's with us for 7 years. So we wanted to make sure we had what met the needs of the students in there. Anything else in there?
Well, Bruce had mentioned this, but we did send out this information to families, and I do want to say that we did have at least one family come and look at the material. The family had reached out and said, hey, could you send us some things like maybe in a backpack? And I sent some pictures back. They said, that will be very difficult because what actually comes from the material companies is the physical curriculum. They send you quite a bit of material. They send you the teacher books, they send you the student books, they send you digital access, they send you the materials, consumable materials, non-consumable materials. And so it's very difficult to get a sampling of that. So we've asked that family to come into the district office and get a look. And it was a real joy to have a parent in, answer some of their questions and have them see some of that process. That person left today and said, I knew this happened, but I didn't know how it happened. And so that was really, they had excellent questions. They sat down, they looked through some curriculum and ultimately said, I trust that this process will happen how it is. Thanks for letting me see it.
And we surely invite anybody that'd like to come in and look. If you go into not the large conference room, but I believe it's conference room one, in there, an entire wall has the current curriculum we're looking at in there. We have it on display right now more prominently, the curriculum that is our top choices in there, or the teachers' top choices in there as we're moving forward. But if you'd like to take a look at that, we sure would love to have your input as well in there as we're doing that.
Appreciate you guys being thorough. I mean, it's gonna be here for 7 years, so that's
It's a big commitment.
Make sure you do it right.
Well,
appreciate it.
And one of the other things I didn't mention, K 6 through 8, you have 3 science teachers looking at that curriculum, and you get some input from high school sometimes. And at the high school level, you have 4 science teachers typically, and they're looking at curriculums that have their own kind of areas they're in. At elementary, you're bringing in 20-some people in there, and you're getting them to agree is a little more difficult as you come in there. And there's a huge difference in need in there. One of the things we talked about was K2. It's hard to teach science if it's not engaging and it's not exciting to them. And what we're really looking for, and we've had that discussion with learning coaches, and Dana and I've had that discussion across, we're looking something that really can engage the ELA and the writing content in there so that we can provide more time for the integration of science in there through another content area. So how can we do that? If we have an engaging material, I think we can do that. And we're finding there are curriculums out there that really have a strong tie to English language arts. And so we can capture back some of that potential writing time in there to be able to do some science in there and write about our science in there and still kind of do both things and do both things well as we think we're doing that. Third through fifth, it's a little easier to integrate science. Fourth and fifth is where you see it, on a consistent basis integrated. But K2, it's much more difficult in there. So we hope to see with that transition, more opportunities to have science at those younger grades.
There's gonna be a textbook that students can take home and the parents can kind of follow along or help them? Is there an aspect?
You know, I'd like to say yes to that, but I haven't seen one yet. They don't, it's online, it's access, and then there's a workbook that has almost everything in there that they have.
That workbook is more of a consumable, meaning that it could be something that, you know, they have perforated pages, they tear out, they may be doing a lesson, they may be actually physically writing on it. And so unlike a traditional textbook that may be printed on the high gloss paper and you're using it year after year, these workbooks are typically what most of these curriculums are coming with.
A lot of them have a scan code, you scan the code, you watch your little lesson or video that you're basing your information on as you do that. And then they'll have some of the pages out of the books that are presented in there for parents as well. But even when we get to math and to ELA, we don't see the traditional textbook like we did before. We're seeing more electronic versions of those things in there. At the high school level, I think you're still seeing some of the textbooks in there, but I know having the conversations we had, you know, when we look at some of the advanced courses at the high school level, we're looking at the only option to purchase sometimes is ebooks. You know, like you get at the college, you rent them as you go through in there. And that was some of the conversations. I know that at the AP course level, we don't adopt off the state list, but we go with a recommendation from the college with something that will meet the requirements of the course in there in conjunction with our teachers here.
Meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Other questions? We'll have more for you next month.
Yes, it will.
Okay, we're excited. Thanks for the update and the level of rigor.
One last thing, if I could mention it, we're in the midst of state testing. And we're just starting to see that downward tournament. And, you know, there's some interesting data coming out. It's too early to say too much about it. But we're seeing some trends out there that are pretty exciting at some levels out there. You can't change everything immediately, but you can see some good things happening out there. And I think for a lot of reasons and a lot of hard work by our educators in there, using some of the things that have been put in place. So we're excited about that. And we'll give you a report whenever you're ready.
Good. I know we've talked a lot about participation rates over the past years, so I'll repeat what I've said. You're only limited by your imagination with incentives on how to get kids to participate. Because I think it's pretty, but they've come up.
Yes,
They have. They
Yes,
really
they
have.
Yes, they have.
I know Dana and I looked at some initial results, got a little scared in there, and some of the initial results we had were not as good as we wanted, but they were some of the kids that may have not spent as much time in it, but all kids are taking it.
Good.
All kids are taking it in there, so
That's good.
you're gonna get a good representation from all kids.
Thank you all. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 11, board comments.
I just want to say thank you to the principals. You guys are invaluable and I think you guys do a great job. We appreciate you.
I want to say thank you to the bargaining team, so you guys did a lot in the very few sessions. I don't think I've ever seen anything done that fast with bargaining, whether it's classified, certified, mass, or not mass, but what is it over in SWAT. Anyway, yeah, those months, years, never 3 sessions, so that's pretty amazing. You guys should pat yourself on the back for that.
I think a lot of that goes to the fact that we're very collaborative on an ongoing basis. I mean, we have a meeting tomorrow. So, and we meet usually, at least every month, if not, a couple times a month on topics.
Like the trio students at communication.
Absolutely.
Great.
Excellent job.
Okay, agenda item 12, information only. Vince, I'll reiterate what you said, May 8th. We have first budget committee meeting a week from today, and then 2 weeks from today, we have the second. Michelle, was there food?
I'm not sure on the details of that quite yet, but I will be.
Budget thing?
Yes.
Yes, that will be food. We'll have dinner over across the street, 4 to 5 for the committee members. And
Okay.
and then we'll come over here for the meeting.
Okay.
5, what time is it?
Oh, wait, 5 to 6 over there.
5 to 6 over
And then
there,
6
sorry.
over here.
Okay.
We just haven't decided.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come over. Did we do that previous years?
I thought we had tacos last year for the budget committee.
We'll have some food.
It's
Okay.
it's
It's an enabler.
I'm sorry, I'm missing school. Maybe my annual pilgrimage down to Louisiana, so.
Well, there'll be another one the next week.
No, I'll be gone for 2 weeks. I leave the 7th, and then I come back on the 20th, so.
Perhaps a makeup session.
Yeah, if you guys will hold out for me.
For you alone,
Just for me.
give you details.
Okay. Well, thank you all. With that, we will adjourn. Thank you very much.